know it's been a while. I don't know if anyone missed me, but anyway, here we go again. I'm Sam I am, and welcome to my channel again. And I had an interesting concept that I think it's interesting. Hopefully you will too. I think I mentioned in another video, kind of when my channel was still new, you know, like in the first 2 or 3 videos, which is like, how many do I have? Not very many. I don't know. Anyway, but I think I mentioned it before that every now and then it's a good thing to separate yourself, the observer, from your ego self. Just to kind of check in and see where you're at, you know, like, how is myself doing? How am I doing? You know, but not like, how am I doing, but like, how is myself doing? Maybe if I like explain what I wanted to talk about, that'll make a little more sense. So when I mean separate from your ego, your ego comes from the brain, and like the brain and the mind are two similar but different things. I don't know if I'm going to explain this correctly. We'll see. Try and bear with me here. Okay, so if you think a thought, you can like think the thought, I am thinking a thought. Okay, think that in your mind real quick. Okay, did you hear that thought? Or maybe some people, I think, see the words as written language. I'm not sure if you're a more visual thinker. But did you hear that thought? Did you see that thought? Did you feel that thought? Now, who is the you that saw, heard, felt the thought? That's the observer in you. That's consciousness. Okay. That is not, the thought is not actually you. And when you start to identify with your thoughts, that's when you, like, that's what you build your identity from. And so if you think different thoughts, you can be a different person. Easy, right? And easier said than done, obviously. For most of us, I think, anyway. So I kind of came up with this concept that every now and then I think about, and it like helps me to like really separate quickly from myself. I mean, you know, mentally, you know, like just take a step back. Samantha is a character that I play. That is my role in this lifetime. So this go around in this body's character is named Samantha and has such and such a birth date and has, you know, this kind of history going on and this kind of thought patterns that she usually goes through. And that is who this character is. And I can change who this character is. I know I can. I know it's possible. I'm still working on it. It's definitely a work in progress. I know I'm about to make a breakthrough, but I've been feeling like that for a while, and it's getting old. I'm like, okay, where is this breakthrough? Anyway, the glow from my monitor kind of cuts in and out. But anyway, so yeah, when I think about, wait a minute, Samantha's just a character I'm playing, then it's like, ooh, what can I do with this character? You know, like it kind of becomes like a game. Like, remember how I even named my channel? We're zoomed out game players, right? So like, if you zoom all the way out, we're all the same person. We're just playing a game with ourselves because we're an only child. Because consciousness is an only child, if you want to say it that way, I guess. That's the first time I've ever thought of it that way, but that's kind of cool. Consciousness is an only child, and it splits into everything else to give ourselves the experience of ourselves. And you are only this person once in all of ever, right? So you only get to be this person once. So what are you going to do with this character? What do you want to make this character's life look like? You are your own sim. If you're familiar with the game The Sims, I have been playing it since the very first version came out. I haven't played it in a while, but yeah, like oh man, I love Sims. Anyways, so you are your own sim. So I mean, if it's all a matrix anyway, you can think of it as a matrix if you want to. No one's stopping you. Some people think it's a computer simulation. It's not really a computer simulation, unless you think of consciousness as a computer, because it's a consciousness simulation. It's all mind games, man, all the way down, all the layers. It's all mind games. But anyway, I just thought it was a really fun concept, and I think it'd be fun if you maybe wanted to play with that concept and like separate from yourself or the self that you're being right now, and like remember that, oh, you're actually a soul, you're actually the observer, and this is just this character is like the ride that your soul is going on right now, like, you know. And the thing about, I want to kind of help you separate also the concept between consciousness and your personal brain and your personal thoughts, right? So the brain as a physical organ, as a physical thing in reality, is only conscious of what you feed it. So it knows your memories because it's stored physically in this brain. You know, that's why when you go to another life, you forget this one. I mean, some people do remember their past lives going into the next one, and I don't know how that works, but for the most part, we're just going to talk about what usually happens. When your soul leaves this body, your soul will take the memories, your soul will remember it, but your next body won't, because it's a different brain. It's a brand new brain. So it only knows what it learns from everything and everyone it learns from, like, you know, how life works. But anyway, so that's how I kind of separate, like, what is this temporary me and what is like eternal me. And eternal me is a lot harder to get a real good grip on, a real good grasp of. You know, because like it's just not something we're used to doing, I think. Most of us anyway. So yeah, I just think it's a really fun concept to play with. Like, every time I remember, oh yeah, this is just my character, I think of all of the different possibilities. Like, ooh, what can I make this character do? What can I make this character look like, you know? And it's not as easy as editing a sim, like, from the game, but it is possible. A lot of things are possible, especially, like, and I used to think this way as a teen too. But as a teenager, it was a very much a smaller concept. That because I was religious as a teen. I'm not religious anymore. I'm spiritual now, which there is a difference. But anyway, before I go too far off on that tangent, so as a teen, while I was religious, I believed, like, when I thought about the concept of heaven or afterlife or reincarnation or whatever, I'm like, you know what? I bet if it's true for you, then it's true for you. And I just kind of applied that concept simply to that little aspect, right? Simply to, okay, so your religious beliefs or your beliefs in the afterlife or whatever, if that's what you really believe, then that's what you'll experience. And now, looking at that concept of if it's true for you, then it's true for you, is much broader. And it's really applies to everything. It applies to yourself. It applies to anything you want to apply it to. If it's true for you, it is true for you. That's what the placebo effect is. If you believe these little sugar pills are going to cure your whatever you got, and they do, it's because you believed that it would. And even when they tell participants of these studies that, oh, by the way, it was a placebo, their symptoms stay gone and they can still keep taking the pills and it still works. Like, even if you consciously are aware, oh, this is just like a placebo, it still works because it's true for you. So, like, it's literally, your brain has so much more power than, like, we've ever been told. But then whose job is it to tell you? You know? Like, people in power aren't going to tell us anything that gives us any power, for one. We've seen that, like, for lifetimes. It's ridiculous. But anyway, not going to go there. It doesn't matter who. And, like, and I don't think it's always the fault of whoever's in a position of power, because none of us are taught that stuff. So, like, at one point, there was somebody who knew that we all are sovereign beings and we have our own power, like, in our mind and stuff like that. At one point, we used to know that way back in our oldest histories, right, that we can find. But somewhere along the line, something came in and intercepted that knowledge, and the rest of us have kind of been blind since, you know, kind of like the same way as, like, I loved school. Okay, I loved school. While I was in school, the worst part of school were the other people. I loved the learning. I loved the test taking. I loved all of the academic crap, right? I was good at it, okay? The people part, not so much. But anyway, what I'm getting at there is the teachers, they really believe that, like, you know, I'm teaching you, this is going to benefit you, you know? At least I believe that's what they believe. Otherwise, why are they there? And for the most part, it's probably true. You know, they believe they're helping, you know, shape young lives, right? For the most part. But what's really happening is the whole school system, at least here in America, was like completely designed to churn out obedient little worker bees. So the system was designed to oppress us, but I don't believe that the teachers themselves individually are like, yes, let's churn out these little worker bees. Right? So, excuse me. So, like, yeah, you know, there's a lot of systems that have been put in place that are like designed to keep us down, but, like, that's just what we have to operate in, or at least so far. I believe that society will be reshaping itself quickly, but not as quickly as we'd probably like it to. It might it probably won't be like in my lifetime. And if it is, it'll be like toward the end. I'm not even sure if it'll be that early, you know. But I know it's going to reshape because we're going like, I don't know what kind of circles everybody's in, right? Who watches these. But like we're going towards a more heart-centered, you know, elevated consciousness era, golden age, right? If you've heard the terms golden age or new earth, because the level of consciousness is rising, right? We're going into higher vibrations and higher frequencies and higher dimensions. That's a lot of other topics. Not sure I'll get into those, but you can definitely like search around for that kind of stuff. There's a lot of it out there. But always use your own discernment, because if it's true for you, then it's true for you, right? So just be aware of like what you want your truth to be. What is your truth? Kind of have a deck of cards in my hands and I've been messing with it. I don't know if it's been like making noise on the video or not. Maybe it has. Sorry. I kind of do that though. I like to have something in my hands to just kind of mess with when I'm talking or listening or whatever. But anyway, I was thinking maybe I would pull a card. So, this is as good a time as any. I think I've said everything about that. All these little weird side tangents that I seem to go on. Let's shuffle a little bit here. These cards don't shuffle very easily. Ooh, that one's really pretty. I don't know. It's like sometimes I get stopped by whatever's like on the bottom. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the message, because you can make anything mean anything, because everything is inherently meaningless. So we're literally here to add meaning to existence. That's why we exist. So I never know if I should like take like the one that just catches my eye as I'm shuffling. But if you're interested to know, it's fairies. They're healing. And they're like dancing in the moonlight. And it looks like maybe rain as well. Rain or a river or something. Something that's kind of water, it looks like. Oh, so pretty. Number 27. I've been seeing 27 everywhere. Is that just me? I gotta do something with that number. It's close to my birth date, but it's not. And it's like, I see it everywhere, especially 327. And it's not like a repeating number, you know, because like everybody talks about repeating numbers. But 27 is just one I see like almost everywhere lately. I don't know what the heck. I don't know what it means. Oh no, have I given away my number? Like, was that supposed to be like my lotto number? Like, I don't know. If you won something, will you share with me if you use that number? I don't know, but anyway. I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird. Like 27 and 327, a lot. So I don't know. It's probably just a personal thing. I don't know. It's probably some meaning for me. I don't know. Anyways, I just picked this one out in the middle of the deck. Oh, that's pretty. Success. Wow. 47. It's not 27, but it's 47. Wow. That is so pretty. Look at that golden sunshine. And I like how it's kind of like the castle on the inside, As within, so without. So if it's within you, you'll see it on the outside. Everything is a mirror in this reality. Especially people. And so, like, whatever you have within you, whatever your truth is, it will come out and it will shape your reality. So, I just think that's so beautiful. Look at those clouds. Ah. As within, so without. So pretty. Like, there's a lot of darkness that you had to walk through. A lot of stairs. I don't like stairs. Big surprise, right? Anyway, a lot of darkness, a lot of climbing, a lot of effort. But you reach the top and there's sun and clouds and room to breathe. So if you can make your inside, if you go through all of the effort to make your insides a castle, it'll show. Beautiful. I love it. Okay. Oh yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to say. Like my new glasses? Aren't they cute? Anyway. Okay. See you next time. Bye.